Here's a quote. The grid, a digital frontier. I tried to picture clusters of information as they moved through the computer. What did they look like? Ships? Motorcycles? Where? The circuits? Like freeways. I kept dreaming of a world I thought I never would see. And then one day I got in. Kevin Flynn, Tron Legacy. That hits home when you think about it when we're talking about circuit board cities, isn't it? I'm going to show you a quick few second clip of circuit boards right in front of our face being used by governments in regard to advertising the country. This one is Innovation Grows for Ireland, and you can see the circuit board morphs into the countryside, always in your face. Here we go. Etymology of circuit. Circuit, a circumference, a periphery, a line going around an area, a space enclosed within a certain limits. Electrical sense, arrangement by which current is kept up between two poles. Between two poles? Looks like masonic, doesn't it? A current is kept between two poles. That's the number 11. So let's go over the etymology again. Circuit, a circumference, a periphery, a line going around an area. So possibly a circle. From circa 1400 as a space enclosed within certain limits. Sounds familiar. So far it's a circle and it's enclosed. Electric sense, arrangement by which a current is kept up between two poles. So picture an electric current trapped and enclosed by two poles, 11, moving in a circular pattern. Can you picture it? Here's a clue. It's one of the oldest Masonic symbols. And here's a few seconds for you so you can actually have a little guess. And here it is. Two poles, an electric circuit trapped in between the two poles. That is what I see. It's just blown me away. I've talked about it for a long time, this symbol, in regard to circumpunct Godhead knowledge. But if you actually just put it into perspective in regard to the etymology that I've just shown you, it just makes perfect sense. Two poles trapped with a circle of electricity in between. So there's many theories on it. Even the Masons admit they don't truly understand what it is. One theory is that you are the dot and the lines represent virtues, vices, etc. Some say that the point in the circle refers to the circumambulation a new initiate is required to make about the sacred altar. To them it's sacred law. I believe it's us trapped in a loop, in a circuit, a motherboard. Sailing the currency, the currency. The electric current of life. So before I spell etymology electric, I held a definition back on circuit. So space enclosed within certain limits, hence district in which any business involving periodic journeys is done, especially of judicial assignments involving the journey of a judge from one place to another. Spell etymology of electric. Now this is when it gets wow. Electric, L godly, ECT object or and so forth, and rick jurisdiction or district. So electric means this place, object is a jurisdiction of God. Tell me that ain't wow. The following is just me thinking out loud, so bear with me. Remember this, I've not long talked about it. Could this be this? To me it does represent the same thing, and we're talking about the double Uraeus and the divine It's a divine symbol for Ra, Wadjet, so much when it's got the wings, without the wings. There's so many things it can equate it to in Egypt. But as you can see here, we have the electric symbols for source. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? I believe they're very, very similar to source and to these symbols. 2 poles, 2 lines and a circle either side. To me, DC current, AC voltage source, they are the same. That is just my opinion. Now, the reason I'm thinking like this is because look at this. AC DC in gematria equates to 11, and we know whose number is 11. I'll go a little bit deeper. AC DC source 92, 9 and 2 equals 11. Now this got me thinking, could Janus be the alternating current? Because as you can see, 9, 11, 9 and 1 and 1 equals 11. And we know alternating means more than one of 2 or more things. Now Janus has more than one face. Could it be the fact that Janus is the AC current amongst so many things, and he is trying to displace the direct source from our curator? He's trying to hijack it like a program out of Tron or the Matrix. It's just a thought. See what you guys think. So I already showed you one Masonic image, and that is in regard to the realm where we could be. Now I just thought, could I find anything else that could be in regard to the electrical sense and the circuit board? And we've all seen these images for the G and wondered what they are, from the grand architect to geometry to Gnosticism, Gnosis, and I thought, what could it be? And it hit me, the symbol for an electric generator is the letter G. What if? Could it be that simple? That in your face. Now, in this pandemic, I know it's been going on for a long time, but primarily in this pandemic, they've been fist pumping, and I've been telling people it's all been in regard to Janus, all the face masks, everything, it's all in regard to him. What if I could tell you I could connect even the fist pumping to Janus and to the circuit board and this electrical system? You would go, wow, wouldn't you? I actually got the tingles. Friends that I showed this to were, wow, I can see it. It's beyond words. Now we see it. Now, are you ready for what this means in electrical sense and terminology? It's wow. So there we go. You see a fist pump, the image that I've selected. Now I had an idea. Again, could I find anything in regard to electric symbology? I believe the fist pump is the symbol for transformer, and you can quite see it. Even get the 11 symbology in the middle, where the action with the current actually goes. Tell me I'm not seeing something. Tell me you can see that fist pump in action represents the symbology for the transformer. The transform you. Transformers, they want to transform us into a Tron. Transhumanism, it's a big thing now, and it's in all the films. Tell me guys, I'm not going crazy, and you can see what I can see. I'm sorry about the clarity, it's the best I could do, but I thought this was important. A transistor is a semiconductor device used to amplify or switch electronic signals and electrical power. Transistors are one of the basic building blocks of a modern electronics, and that's why I've highlighted the building blocks. It is composed of semiconductor material, usually with at least 3 terminals for connection to an external circuit. Janus is known as Terminus, the god of boundaries and transitions. You can see why I'm showing it you now. Now there's 2 basic transistors, PNP transistors and NPN transistors. Now when you look at transistors and the symbol for transistors on the left and the right, the transistor to me it looks like a water tower. And we're talking about circuit boards. Oh, what about having what you can see? There is a water tower on the right. To me, they're nigh on identical to a transistor. Now I'm not the only one to think like this, and coming up is a picture of a transistor / water tower, and it's the world's largest transistor water tower in Holmdel, New Jersey. the water tower at the now defunct Bell Labs R&D facility in Holmdel. The three-legged tower commemorates the invention of the transistor by Bell Labs scientists. So they're thinking on the same lines as me. Now back to the transistor symbol. I looked at that and I knew instantly what it was. I'll turn it around so you can see. Who is it? For me, it is Baphomet. You can see it. Now I'll put them side by side. You'll see it more. And what I'll do then is I'll change the colour so you can actually see it overlap the black and white. And there you go. Remember, Baphomet, transistors. And Janus is Terminus, as well as a god of transitions. Transitions, transistors. You can see why I had to include this. It's basically Janus. The moment you realise you're just a piece of data carrying information as you move through a circuit system that has been designed to siphon your spiritual energy. And when I saw this meme, obviously micronism, motherboard and macrocosm and cityscape, it just got me thinking, how could this all relate to my research that I'm doing? And then one day I accidentally landed on logic gates. And as you can see, there's different types of gates in a circuit system: OR, NOR, AND, NAND, XOR, XNOR, buffer and NOT. And what these logic gates actually do, I'm going to read that out now, but just picture these as archways. So what is a logic gate? Logic gates are found in our computers. They are electronic devices used to control the flow of data, which is us, remember. When data passes through a logic gate, like an archway or a doorway, when we walk through and under them, it changes its state. It's like influence, it amplifies. This change depends on the input into the logic gates. Many logic gates could be joined together to form a logic circuit. The function of this circuit is more complicated than a single logic gate. So picture archways all around this circuit board, motherboard, and we always have an influential archway in most towns or cities. We'll see them. I'll show some images after this of archways around this realm. Obviously, who is the god of archways and transitions and the flow? Yes, Janus. So this is why I researched this in regard to gates, and then I stumbled upon logic gates, and just here it's controlling the flow, it's influencing, it's when data passes through, it changes its state. So imagine all these gateways, these portals, or as we know, logic gates around this realm, where they're all situated in cities. It's like the flow of the circuits go through these gates. So it's influencing, it's controlling. What is it doing? Is it changing our state, our thought process? Is it controlling the population? Is it what's influencing the population by amplification of what is going and being pumped into these logic gates? It just gets you really thinking, and I know it's deep, but my mind's just blown, and I'm really excited about this video and its contents. I just hope you guys are enjoying it too, like I am. So I've just mentioned gates, and here's the Soldiers and Sailors Arch in New York. Now I believe different arches, different gates have different purposes. Now look at this, this is really fishy. This is the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Arch under construction on the left, and now how it is today. Tell me you can see the blurringly obvious these two ain't the same. And yes, I know the distance of the photograph might be slightly different, but not the significant to what it is. Just look at the size. Just look at the size. I mean, I could go another, what, 10 feet nearer on the right, and it still wouldn't to the magnitude of the one on the left. Something just doesn't match what we've been told, and we know this in the history. Just look at it on the left. The size of it. It's not even half done on the left, because you still got them like the bronze castings on top of the 3 pillars, and then the rest. What's happened? You can just quite see it, and people say, oh well, the photograph was taken from far away. You can see the people are similar size. The distance isn't that much difference to get that. It's like it's been built, destroyed and rebuilt to what it is today, and that is just my opinion. You can see it by just looking at it. Here's a selection of a few arches, some that are just so out of place that are classed as ancient. These are an arch that goes travelling. Yeah, this arch, Palmyra Arch, the Arch of Baal, went on a world tour. Cool for the arch. Obviously we know this one's one of the most famous arches, but all these arches have a purpose, a different job. And this is why I was so intrigued about arches. Obviously not just because obviously the god of arches is Janus, but also just for the research that you've seen today in regards to the circuit board cities. All these arches are at strategic points on a map where the flow of energy and people, the circuits, whatever you want to call us, have to flow through them. And it's mind-blowing when you start to look at it a little bit different and what's being accepted. It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, we even have natural arches, and here's just a few now. I've got still a lot to go through, and I'm just so excited, still excited. You know, we're at this stage now. Hopefully you're enjoying it, guys. Here you can see Tron, and they're called Recognizer. They're basically a hovering ship, and here's the sound that they make. It's an eerie sound. It's like it's emitting a frequency. Now they're like a sentinel. They guard as well as attack. Now, what do they look like? For me, they remind me of monumental arches, triumphant arches, arches that we see all around this circuit board, this realm. It's crazy. So in your face, it's like logic gates before we even knew. Wondering why I've got the map on. This is of New York. I've not exactly zoomed in because I want to obviously progress and show you what I'm actually doing. The reason I've done New York is because I had a little side project that I was just about to start. It'll take years. Oh, God knows how long. And it just like, whoa. It just like me thought, well, I've included some of the arch pictures of New York into this video. And I thought, well, you know what, I'll show you what I've done so far. It's like only a side project, but it actually works and integrates beautifully with what I'm talking about, how the arches are built to siphon energy off. So I'm going to go through some arches in New York, and you'll notice a pattern that'll make you go, wow. And like I said, there could be more, so it could be even more planted, but here we go. So we're starting off with at the top. Let me just zoom across up, and the first arch is here, and I'll show pictures on the screen. But the first arch is Seaman Drake Arch. So what I'll do is, there you go, zoom in a bit more, and it's actually incorporated into a building now. But I'll show you the picture and I'll put up the screen now. So there you go, the Seaman Drake Arch. I'll show you an older picture where the buildings were around it and how it is now. So there's the first one on the outskirts, and there could be many more, guys. Like I said, I've not finished this is just for this video, and I'm going to carry on hopefully. So you move down, so you notice the pattern in a minute. So the blue dot is where the arch is. So just move out a bit, and the next one, as you can see, in a straight line. I mean, you got arch after arch in the bridge, but this what is, it's a standalone one, and it's the Harlem High Bridge, and I'll show you because it actually was a viaduct too, and you'll see the beautiful pictures, the old of that. So there's a Harlem High Bridge. It might be I've just put the blue dots roughly in the position, because obviously when you zoom out, it looks like it's in that location. So you can see so far lines up. So the next along the line, I mean, you could have all the arches of the bridges, but you see, if you go carry on going down, you have another Harlem arch, and I'll put that on the screen now. It might be in the wrong place, but it's roughly 125th Street, and that's what 125th Street says, so I just have to go off that. Obviously if I get it wrong, I get it wrong, it might be somewhere else, but it is in roughly that location, and I'll show you that arch now. So you can see so far 3, 1 straight line. Now we have Central Park. Now there's roughly 36 arches and bridges in Central Park, so you could have more along this line. I've just, like I said, it's time permitting. The only one I've put in is Dipway Arch, Central Park. So there is more. There's 36 bridges and arches in Central Park, so you can have more along that line. It's just hard to find coordinates for each specific bridge, so I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to do one and then explain that there's 36 more bridges or 35 more bridges in that park, so you can have them definitely in a line. There's going to be 1 or 2 on that line at least, right? So you carry on moving down. Now in Times Square you had the Arch of Baal, and I'll put that on the screen, the Baal Arch, and that was roughly where they put it, and you can see it from the picture. Another arch put in that location, and you're thinking, oh yeah, Times Square. I know people say it's Times Square, I always say Times Square. Just look at the line, it's along that line again. As you can see, carry on moving down. You had Dewey Arch, it's called the Dewey Arch, and I'll show you a picture for the Dewey Arch. I don't think it's actually there now, is it? Or it won't zoom in for me. It might actually, no, it's roughly in that location, the Dewey Arch. And I'll put a picture on the screen so as you can see, guys, it's along that location. So after the Dewey Arch, we did have a few more. There we go, along the Dewey Arch. You had the Washington Square Arch. I think that might be still there. I'll just put it near. Come on, zoom in. There you go. You can see it's still there. So, Paul, you're onto something. So you can see so far in a straight line. Next one, and then I'll zoom really out and you'll see the blue dots. So there could be more along that arm. Like I said, I've had to do other videos in the meantime. So there you go, you had one at Manhattan Bridge, so that's just slightly off, but you also had one at the municipal building. Now the municipal building, the actual arch is incorporated into the building, and I'll show you it now. But what's interesting as well is they had the Baal Arch in front of the building too, so it went in Times Square and he went here. So if you look at the blue dots, zoom up some more. Tell me I'm not onto something, guys. Just look at that. Bang, bang, all the way down. Straight down the spine. All archways. And tell me, wow. You know what I mean? So, I just found it so interesting. Oh, and then guess what? You had a few more coming over the other island, onto the other part of Brooklyn. You had the Soldier and Sailor's Arch. So if you look at it, it's all following that same road. I don't know if that's still there, but I'll show you the pictures. There you go, you see the arch. Soldier and Sailor's Arch. And then close by, on the same line again, you had Meadowport Arch. So come on guys, this is just me quickly doing something. Look, central points again, just like that street I showed you before. All the arches on the same line. And you know, maybe if I get more time, this might curve into an arch to go around. But what's funny is, if you follow that line and go like this, look what's on there on the same line. Some place called Sandy Hook Gateway National Recreation Gateway. So come on guys, I'm into something here, surely. Look, it's on that line, and we know what happened in Sandy Hook. See? There you go guys, this is just a quick video showing you Google Earth locations of arches, and coincidentally they're all in roughly the same position on a line. And from what you've seen so far, and logic gates, and how is it changing temperaments, is it sucking energy, life force, soul, you know, because I've done many videos on us being batteries. Who knows guys, it's just completely up for your interpretation, but it is so interesting this, what I'm just showing you, to connection with what I'm talking about on how everything is lining up. Right guys, thank you for watching and your patience. I'll try and zoom in on this in parts because I know it's not so big on your screen. You'll have to just take my word for it if it doesn't work. But when Queen Liz was on a coronation procession, she actually went through so many arches along the procession. It just shows you guys how my research on Janus and all these, that's just his Roman name, is so interesting, and why people should look into it more, because it just is so revealing. And sometimes it might sound boring to some, but it just leads to so many rabbit holes. Even the rabbit holes named after him. Knowledge is named after Janus, for you know what I mean. So come on, like, you know what I mean. So what I'll do is I'll zoom in at different places on the map just to show you the arches that she actually went through. I just thought I'd include this little bit too. So in this section I wanted to jumble up cities, micro, you know, photographs of cities that make them look like circuit boards and motherboards, actual motherboards, actual art that people are designing now to mimic cities. I find it all beautiful, and as you can see, they really are good pictures. Now to me and most of you, yes, motherboards, circuit boards do look and are laid out in the fashion that we see today. It isn't a new thing, it's been going on for thousands or whatever time of period you believe we live in. I mean, take this for instance, this is another advertisement. This one's by VW, and it's showing a new truck, and the grass, you know, the farm fields are all laid out like circuit boards and motherboards. It's crazy, it's in your face, it's like the Isle of One. I mean, this is Babylon. It's set out like a processor, a motherboard. This is the Forbidden City, everyone knows this one in China. It's laid out like a circuit board. A lot of these towns did in them time periods. And then we're back to motherboards and computer chips. It's just mind-blowing. They do look like cities, and it's up to you to decipher which is which. I put them in jumbled up on purpose so that you could actually take a look. This is from the old Kyoto. It's a circuit board. It is so mind-blowing. This is Skill City in India. It's a proposed new development, and they're actually intentionally designing it like a motherboard, and more towns, more and more cities are actually doing this. It's just in your face. So I see a lot of threads on community boards, social media and whatnot about why did they break up arches? Why did they break up the windows? Why did they break up the doors? Now, I've got a theory on the arches bit and the doorways, but obviously the windows, I have to mention that in the UK back in the day we used to have a tax on windows. Yeah, we find a tax for everything, don't we? And this one was on the amount, the number of windows that you had in a house. So a lot of people just had enough and bricked majority of them up. That's why you see a lot of them bricked up and they look old. I have to mention that. But personally, when I was looking into this research, I found a thing called discharging arch. They say they brick them up to basically spread the weight and built to take weight off. Now this is discharge. I believe these doorways are leaking, these gateways are leaking. Now here is what a discharge is: to cancel a contract because of a completion or a breach. I believe, see, and mention of judges again, I believe these gateways, portals are leaking, so they brick them up. It's as simple as that. Discharge, to exempt, to exonerate, to release free, to unload, discharge from the Latin discere, and basically to load a wagon or a cart. But for me, think about it. If you aren't doing your job properly, they discharge you from your service, terminate your contract. I believe these arches and doorways are basically leaking. They're not working properly, so they discharge them from service. And to do this, because we are just another brick in the wall, they bricked them up. They said, there we go, you're no good no more, we're bricking you up. That's just my opinion for what it is. So before I talk about Boolean, so I'm going to be a little bit on Boolean. Is it me, or do NAND gates, not gates, remember the logic gates, the symbols for them, do they not look like ladies and gents toilet sign symbols? I'm just going crazy, but I can see it. Hopefully you guys can see, again, the link up between the electrical and this realm. So here's George Boole. I don't want to go into great detail on this, but if you want to check out the old video I did on this, it's on my Odyssey under the Black Sheep Researcher. Now, George Boole was born in Lincolnshire. He was an English mathematician who helped establish modern symbolic logic, and whose algebra of logic, now called Boolean algebra, is basic to the design of the digital computer circuits. It's key. He's really so influential. Now, we've talked about the NOT gates, the AND gates, and everything in this in regard to siphoning energy and the actual purpose of this circuit board world, motherboard world, that a lot of people believe we live in. Now, this guy was into the occult. He was into seances. He was into everything. The fourth dimension. You name it, this guy and his family, even his daughters, his wife, were mathematicians and into the occult. So it just seems strange that I'm talking about the purpose of these arches, tying them into logic gates. I mean, look at this now. What's Janus's number? Yep, 11. Boolean algebra equates to 11. Is that just a coincidence? Do we not believe in coincidences? But it blew me away. Even his name, 281 equals 11. Is that any coincidence, or am I onto something about Janus? The 11 representing the doorway, the portals, the logic gates, whatever this is. I'm trying to get my head around in this video. Hopefully you can see the significance of this research. So in this video I've already talked about amplification, I've talked about arches, I've talked about who the god of arches is. Obviously we talked about magnetism in regard to Janus. You can see the 11, we can see how magnetism is to Janus, north and south poles, opposites, to Janus two-face. You can see this meme, I believe Flat Fact made it, and I've got it off someone else. She made a really good video, so go and check out her YouTube channel, Flat Fact. And what connects both of these together? Janus is god of archways, yes. We're talking about a circuit board, motherboard realm. We're talking about the symbol that I will show in a sec in regards to something else. Remember the two St. John's, the circle, the two lines and the circle. And he is also the solstices. He is the sun and the moon. He is Janus Coeli, Janus Inferni. So, yes, people will get like, oh, he's insignificant. But to me, Janus holds the keys. And if this realm is all frequency based in regard to electronics and energy, the guy is the janitor. He's the go-to guy. And if he's controlling the currents through these arches, like I've already talked about, maybe affecting our temperaments, moods, you name it, controlling us through these arches like a sentinel, it just makes you think, doesn't it? And now something's coming up now in regard to Janus Islands. What I want to show you now is, some of you will know because you've been with me for a while, but I have a lot of new flockers, subscribers, friends, I like to call friends, on the channel. So you saw in the video so far, I've showed you this symbol. I've talked about how it breaks down into the circuit. I've also shown you how it, well, I theorised, could it actually be this realm, the circuit board? But you would need 2 poles. Now, most of the people don't believe this north and south and on a globe model, but may accept that there's 2 poles. Now, this got me thinking. I've showed you this, and I've talked about how Janus is Giano. Another form of Giano in English is John. So those 2 Johns are basically Janus. Anyway, what would the wow be if there is a Janus Island in Antarctica? At the so-called home of the South Pole, there is an island called Janus. That would be a pretty wow, wouldn't it? And I know a few of us have saw this over the years since I've been making videos, and it blows me away all the time. So I've talked about in the past, could it be where the entrances to more land are? But also they are actually, or a gateway or a portal. It could be any of these things. But also, if we're talking about how this realm is, magnetic, and they're using horseshoe, you saw the memes of horseshoe magnets like arches. I've been telling people for years about arches and the magnetism, and I'm glad to put this video together again just to show my theory on it. Janus connects them all. Magnetism, that symbol from the Freemasons and Egypt. Obviously, it's my interpretation, that's why I don't say it's fact. But we have one island here in the so-called South Pole, and it's called Janus Island. Could that be where the so-called magnetic pole is? Now, on the Earth, there is another Janus Island, but this time it's in the north, in Greenland. What are the odds on that, folks? And again, I'll say most of you will see this because I've talked about it before in many videos, but you have 2 islands, opposite sides, just like that diagram, and maybe the Earth in between, and they are the poles, the magnetism, the current. I'll leave that up to you guys. I just thought it was interesting to tie in with everything I've done so far. And I know some people get fed up with the Janus, but it's not my fault if a lot of things connect to it. I have to show it. And I think this is just wow. Not many people talk about this. And I have done for a while. 2 islands, opposite sides. Remember, the 11, the poles, the magnetism. It just intrigues me. And if you don't, if you don't get it, you don't get it. But I just think, wow, it all ties in even better now. And like I said, more you research, more evidence that we unpick and you people share with me, we formulate better ideas of what this place actually is. So I always theorised this, like I said before, was a gateway, was a portal. But what if it's now magnetism? Because obviously we're dealing with Janus particles now, and they're obviously magnetic. So it's just a thought, could this be what I'm talking about? Right guys, thank you. So I wanted to finish this video on wow, and I was trying so hard, and then I just left it overnight, came back in the morning, and it came to me, and it is a wow. Just wait till I show you. Anyway, in the final scene of Tron, either the first one or the Legacy, you need the disc, which if you remembered my last video, disc in Sanskrit is chakra. So you're talking about the disc with all your information is your chakras. But also remember, you got the Akachi or the Akashic records, which I've always talked about in all videos of storing everyone's information on. Same principle as Tron, that's what the disc does. And here's an image of the disc, and you can see it on the screen. But the portal between 2 worlds, remember Tron the film, the characters are torn between, because they are users, they are torn, Tron. But To get back to this reality, Kevin Flynn or his son in the new one have to use the portal between obviously the grid and Flynn's arcade, because that's where the laser is, and I'll show you something on that in a minute which will absolutely blow you away. But I am theorising that in this reality, Flynn's arcade, the portal between realms, is none other than CERN, home of the internet. And obviously people believe that they open portals and gateways, and don't even look at the fact that CERN equals Cerninus equals Janus. Yep, the horned god is Janus. They even named it after him. So you've seen a gif here of the laser in Flynn's arcade, and it hits you, and you can see a picture again on screen. It hits you, basically disintegrates you and makes you digital, and then sends you to the grid. Now, why do I think it's CERN? Why do I think it that? Once if I could connect it all, it would blow your mind. So you've seen the laser, an integral part of the film. Have a guess what this laser is called. This laser is called Shiva. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. It absolutely blew me away. What is at CERN? Outside the statue, none other than Shiva. And from my CERN video, that is, you can catch it on the Black Sheep Researcher Odyssey, you will see where I show you that Shiva is also Janus. So we have the machine that sends you to the grid called Shiva. We have CERN, which is acting as a portal gateway between realms where the internet was started, the digital age. And they have a statue outside called Shiva. Tell me what the odds of that happening. For me, I've exposed this and it's game over. Right guys, my thoughts coming up now.
Yeah, they call me the Black Sheep. You know they call me the Black Sheep.
Hello and welcome. Right guys, what do you make of that? It was a wow for me. I already finished it, filmed my thoughts, and didn't have time to save it to my portable hard drive. So I just slept on it, and glad I did, because in it I had an epiphany. I said that in the video at the end. I just woke up, thought about the laser and that. Couldn't remember what it was called, found out that it was called Shiva. And I'm like, no way. So that is how I connected that to CERN, in the idea that now people can disagree, and it's cool. I mean, words are spells, words create manifestation, and there's a lot of people who watch this who will understand what I'm on about. When you are thinking of something and in reality it just happens. It's like also in a good way and in a bad way, because obviously I've been talking to my good friend Session on an Isle, and we were talking about yesterday how when we plan to do something that goes against the grid has, it's like a little spoiled kid in the playground, always finds a way to fight back, you know, bully. So that's why the give and toe, and this is why I just love making videos, and sometimes just sleeping on it before I publish it. And I'm glad I did, because come on, I know this is a weird type of start to a video, but wow, Shiva. Shiva is the name of the laser that takes you from one reality, digitalizes you and sends you to the grid. And CERN, coincidentally, has the same statue. That, no, it's not a laser, but it's a symbolic nature of it. It's like when they made Tron, they had something in mind. And that is just why I finished on that bombshell. And I believe it was, again, people, I believe it was a wow. Just so excited with everything else that I put in the video. I mean, I didn't even include at the end that there was a chairman of the board, a committee of CERN, and his name was Flynn. Not Kevin, that'd have been too much. But still Flynn, a CERN at Arcade. And we know who the god of archways is and arcs. Obviously the electricity, the ark, the ship. Noah is Janus. CERN is Cernunnos, and Cernunnos is the horn god, which is the other image of Janus. So obviously there's some noise going on in the background, so hopefully it will stop in a minute. It's just like whatever time I do, and this is what I'm just talking about to then, you do something and always seeing something fights back. I'm doing my videos, I'm hitting a few points and something happens, and we just got to smile and play the game. So hopefully you can hear me over that. I'm not going to re-edit it or nothing, because I'll just scream down there. So back to this. I want to say thank you for everyone who tuned in last week or just over a week. I don't know what it is. You made the stream brilliant again. For all the new subscribers, thank you for subscribing. To the old subscribers, thank you for continued support. Mind-blowing, and it's really humbling. If you've not checked out my other videos, please, there's playlists on my channel. I don't know how it's set out for you, but for me, it's all in categories, and there's loads of content. And if you want even more, go to Odyssey and type in, you know, at the Black Sheep Researcher, and you'll see the older videos in there. Most of them I've remade new, and you won't even know it. This video I made on my old channel, and there's only 10% of this that's what was in that video. So you can see how I've gone from using that video to just finding so much more. And it's just opened my eyes. I made a video a couple of weeks ago. A lot of people, yep, that made sense. A lot of people were actually getting really technical and going against, because I was going against the grain that they've been imprinted on them in regard to we are the NPCs. If this game is, like I said in the video, if this game is like a stage, but taking it from a digital point of view, if we were in the game, like Tron, we would either be users, because we're not playing the game. We're not playing the game. So you can get me on like technicalities or whatever you believe in. We are not playing the game. So you can either call ourselves non-playing characters in the game, because we are rebelling, or we could be users, or we could be NPPs, non-playing programs. Just like Matrix, you have mischievous programs like the Oracle, and I forgot the other name of the one that doesn't like Neo himself. Is it number 2 or 3? So you do have these programs, and obviously you have Agent Smith, and that gets me on to, that's what we could be. We could be non-playing programs in this digital world. We're basically walking computers as it is, and we see the math, the binary, that's like a computer of this realm in sacred geometry. It all seems to have a recurring pattern. It's like we are in a computer. When people talk about, you need to get out there to heal and go ground yourself, take your shoes off, connect to Mother Earth, the motherboard. People have parasites, worms. Computers have worms. Viruses. We have viruses. We transfer them to each other via us. I did a video that, I don't know if it's on the Black Sheep, because it originally was one of the videos that got me taken down, and this was talking on how we ingest these viruses through either chemicals in the air, food, proteins, and it gets activated. It's just like the film series, what's it called, Utopia, and the virus of choice in that is Janus. So if we ingest these and they need to get activated, and I believe I theorise that they get activated by Wi-Fi. Basically, another person who has been activated, who has a weaker immune system, the force field, to withhold these viruses, and it turns it on like a buoy, like a homing signal. So when you walk past someone else whose immune system is low, or there's a little gap in the force field, it activates the virus in you, it turns on, and then it replicates, then your immune system's trying to fight. And that's just what I theorise, and it sounds more and more computer-like. Am I saying I'm a computer? No, I'm just saying how everything, that reality seems to fit in this reality. What is reality? This world is frequency, waves, energy and vibration. So what is actually we actually see? Our eyes, according to science, only see 1% of the spectrum. So what is we actually seeing? We're supposed to originally see upside down. Yet when people talk about, oh, well, how evil inverts things. Well, if we already see upside down, wouldn't it be the opposite? So you can see how things do get mind-blowing, and I was just blown away about this video, and I just hope you was too. I'm trying to try and keep it short because I want to try and get it out today. I've been given orders by my friend Steve. He's too busy to work on Sunday and he wants me to get it out Saturday. So hopefully I can get that done for him. I was just blown away. Like I said, I've put a bit of the old video into this, but a lot of the research was just me not being happy and just wanted to, you know, show you something. Wow, I can see Paul's work there, and I want to make you think. It's not necessarily I'm saying this is fact. I want to make you think. I want you to go, when you've watched this video, see all the symbols and say, wow, how do they revert to the electrical? Is there other stuff that connects to the electrical world? They're trying to make us transhuman, trying to turn us into robots. We have VR technology, virtual reality. One of the main brands is called Janus VR. Janus, like I said in the video, could be like the alternating current, one part of the source. It just gets you to think, doesn't it? Because all the 11's the gateway. I found all this obviously through Janus and number 11. It just makes you think, because it is a gateway. That's a portal. A portal doesn't have to actually be, you see it on screen like on films, a portal opening. A portal is just a gateway, a pathway. People see 1111 everywhere. That people always say that you're on the right path. That could just be a point in time when the gateway, the portal, is steering you into a direction, a path in your life that you have to choose left or right. The red pill, the blue pill. Guys, I doubt a lot I remember to put it in this, but the red pill and blue pill in gematria equates to 11. Yep. it's just wow. And even I had a friend, so hello, I do have some, who said, what about purple pill? Purple pill, 11. You can't make it up. So what you got from this video is me talking about an old theory as well in regard to arches. When we went into re-lockdown, it came to me when we was going around all these towns. Whenever time I heard of a major city going in lockdown and it was plastered all over the media, you know, the news, north, east, south and west, the compass directions, the 4, the cross, the 11. Janus, Cardia is cardinal directions. So all traces back to a program that wants to infiltrate everything. It wants to be everything. It's replicating itself and everything. People who have been with me for roughly about 2 years since the beginning, and when I made my own videos, will know how the Janus research has gone from hardly anything to you can't even move and you're stuck in the lift and someone's farted. That's how bad it is. It's just everywhere. And people can say, oh, it's pareidolia, you've seen it. I just show you, you can make up what you will from it. And I'm not going to stop just because certain people don't want to see what I'm coming up with. It's tough. We are tough titties, we call it. So the arches in these locations that were going into full lockdown had significant arches in the town. Not just like a little arch in a window. It's significant war memorials, triumphant arches, and like folklore mythos as well in that town. So that's what actually brought me attention to this whole thing being a festival. They call it a festival, but actually a ritual to that god Janus. I've talked about it so much with face masks and all that, all them videos. I can't remember if I've put a new one. And I briefly talked about it in the Janus rituals one, but that's why I talk about it, because it connects so many things. And if I see the puzzle, hopefully if I show it enough, you people, good people out there, will say, yeah, I can see that, Paul, and yes, I can see that now, because I've created an 11 for you. By me doing my research for you, I'm creating an 11. I'm opening up the portal of information, the light, so you can actually go in and take a look. You can either shut the door on that, or you just carry on. You just keep everything on board. So all these places had archways. I didn't actually put it into this book because it's in an old video. That just blew me away. So that is why I had a fascination with arches. And then people are now talking about arches in regard to horseshoe magnets and magnetism. And also triumphal arches in regard to the solstices. I've been talking this for years. My good friend Flat did a brilliant video on that. Go and check her out. But what connects everything together? Arches, the god of. The solstices and the sun and the moon, who's the god of them? Now, you can find a god for everything, but it seems funny that I can find a god, show you in words, not me making it up, it's other people thinking it before me, that Janus is the god of the solstice, the gates between heaven and earth, and obviously hell. He lets the sun and the moon in. He's also known as Apollo. So you can see how Janus Colei, which is the solstice, and then Janus Inferni, which is the other gate, he controls both of. And people are talking about magnetism. Well, magnetism, you need two poles, positive and negative. Two poles, two-faced. It dawns on you, you can actually tie them to magnetism, and they're actually making now, if you want to Google it when you have a free chance, Janus particles, where they're actually making nanites, nanotechnology, magnetic, and in your body to actually activate stuff. What are people taking? And people are talking about graphene. Just type in Janus graphene. Thank you. People just think I make it up. So if these guys are naming a lot of things after this, it's for a reason. It's a spell. It's to open a portal. Words of spells. What are they letting in? What are they taking out? And that was like my old theory in regard to what arches do. Now, when you take them in and put them in regard to logic and temperaments, your soul, energy, and actual currents hitting these arches, it's a wow. And they're all in prominent places on the grid. They are like the recognizers, the sentinels. They guard entranceways and portals. That's why they have a lot of this portal technology in regard to the sun and the moon, solstices and all that being in these holes, in the arches, triumphant arches, and you can call them what you want. But when you feel like you're onto something, and yes, you might think it's just a stoic or, you know, way out there type of theory, people are talking about this realm being a circuit board, a motherboard, Mother Earth, laid out like grids. They've been doing it for thousands of years, or whatever the timeline is. The timeline. Oh, they've changed the calendars. Who changed the calendars? Who for? Janus. I've showed you them in many videos. So, if this program is like Clue in regard to Tron Legacy, who is trying to create this world in his image, he's trying to infiltrate the other reality. Remember, there's even research on Janus cosmology having two realities simultaneously. So, what, remember in the film, you also have a replication of people, users, and their actual faces in that reality. The programs, where you get programmed by the media, by the government, by indoctrination, and we have two realities, the digital and this physical realm, and they're replications of us. Two faces, like a online avatar, a voodoo doll. Google it. I did a video on the curses. But I mean, how an executive talked about how they have an online voodoo doll of us. All our clicks, all our watches get put on a server, creates a program of us, a virtual online program of us. You can just see how this all meets. And people out there will dismiss CERN. Oh, it's just poppycock. They don't actually know what they're doing at CERN. How do you know? How do you know? If you don't research it, you don't see the evidence. And yes, I could have rose-tinted glasses and it could be a load of bollards. It could. But you never dismiss anything just because you don't believe in that. And I never do. I try not to anyway. But when you start looking into CERN and the symbology of it, and then you watch Tron and you see the CERN, Shiva, the portals, it's just too much. And you have to think, if this is a circuit board, a motherboard, a computer realm, a simulation of sorts, if you believe in a simulation, a God simulation, could God, the creator, the direct current source, and you have AC, alternate, meaning more than one face, and that was the clue, or Janus program, and God left it in charge to run it while he was going back to other realities and the physical realm to see his son in regard to Kevin Flynn. It just gets you thinking. And that is all I ask in my videos, for you guys to come away and think, I agree with that, I don't agree with this, I agree with that. But more importantly, I've made you think. And that is all that you can do. I'm not selling you an idea. I'm not programming you an idea. I'm just showing you what I have found, and it's blew me away. Come on, all these arches set out, and then you go around this realm and you can just see all so-called ancient arches, and you just get left and it's so out of place. It's like they put there in person. It's because it's still working. Maybe an old program, an old transformer as such. What was it now? I can't remember. Transistor as such, because obviously more than one transistor together creates a logic gate. Logic like our minds. And that's why they use HARP. That's why they use 5G, because obviously frequencies and sound, just like the Rememberer or something like that. You know, the ships, the flying ships, I forgot what their name is, and they always give that weird frequency sound off when they hover. That just blew me away. So that was the theory on the arches, using basically the current from us to control the flow of this realm, the energy, spiritual, and what are we opening up, what are we closing in these portals. And think about it, when they leak or break, I just theorise it might not be nothing, but the same term, discharging arches, when you want to brick up the arch and put an arch above discharge, and I put everything in what a discharge means. And then all the ties between a circuit, which I'll get onto now, the circuit and judges and the judicial districts, and how places are broken up into districts on the grid. And we're talking about maritime law, sailing on the sea, the current, the water, the wave. The water could be its energy, and it also could be to cool it. So that brought me on to, obviously, I mentioned briefly the DC and AC and DC, like the band, but that gave me 11. That just blew me away. So the direct current, like I was thinking, could be the proper Korea. The AC could be Janus. Obviously, you could change AC to Clue, and it just could be, you know, the program trying to take over not only that reality, but remember in the film he tries to wage war, and he wants to be able to send all the programs over to this reality. You could call them programs demons, archons, whatever you see fit. But it just gets you thinking, and that's just what I want. I mean, we're talking about the symbol, Masonic symbol, and when you broke down what circuit means, it meant an electric current trapped and enclosed by two poles. And a current, you know, you could go like that, but when I saw how this realm is always in circles, everything travels in circles, circle of life. Even the word spell, if you break that down, it means the circle of God. spell that, you know, he spoke this world into creation, written the program, and that just screamed out to me, that symbol. When I read it out like that, even friends that I've talked to went, wow. Do someone know we are at that stage and that is what we are? I mean, you obviously got the Akachi records, or the Akashic records, and the disc, it means disc in Sanskrit. And Tron have everything they've done is recorded on these discs. They use them for weapons too. What do we use knowledge for? Good and bad. So you can see how I'm excited by this, and I can't wait to see people's reaction with this, especially with that symbology in regard to this realm. This realm could be a circuit board, and the current, the sea current, even in whatever reality you look at, there's some images of this realm as flat and the current goes round in circles. You do have a current, I've included it in an old video. It's called the Janus Gateway, and it's supposedly at the north, or it could be the centre, whatever reality you want to put it, and that controls the sea currents from the Janus Gateway. It's called the Janus Gateway, and that ties me on to that, what I'm talking about as well at near the end. Two poles controlling the flow. You can call them north and south, that are just labels. But to me, when I found out a few years ago that there was two Janus Islands, originally I put it down to people were talking about extra land, and to get to the extra land you would need an entranceway and an exit. Who's the god of doorways, portals and transitions from realities to changing sex? That's why they do the transgender, they're pushing that at the minute. It's all Baphomet, it's all Janus, all the same. That chief program. You would need an entranceway. So in their reality, on their globe model, they have a north and a south. And you have two places called Janus O in Greenland at the top, and Janus Island in, South Pole, Antarctica. Entranceways, portals, or are they the actual poles that's trapping the electricity? That's the place, that's the source. They are just ideas. Nothing wrong with having a good idea. I was just blown away with that. I really was, guys, and I just hope you could see what I was trying to get at. Then, in this current climate, no handshaking, either elbow, and they had us doing that social distancing crap, and they were doing the fist bump, or the fist pump, whatever you want to do it, fist bump. And then, how I saw that, I do not know, but if you turn it that way, because obviously I can't do it on the screen, and you saw your knuckles like that. See, you can see my knuckles slightly. Knuckles, that is the symbol for a transformer. Transformer, and that motion even had the wires creating an 11. Wow, 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 wow. That blew me away. I was like, did I just see that? Is that pareidolia? Am I wanting to see that? Who knows? I could possibly be. But for me, personally, that looked like what I showed you in the video, 100%. And do these world leaders actually know these programs, actually know what reality we're in, and try to reprogram us and do this as a symbolic symbol for the Transformers, or they've been transformed? Remember, male to female, male to female. We have that in electric, male to female. We have grounding. So it is an earth wire, to earth, ground it to earth. It just blew me away. And to me, that was that symbol. Hopefully, you can see that. And then we have the transistor, obviously, Baphomet, and Baphomet is Janus. So we have a transformer symbol, transistor symbol, and we had the G for the great architect, geometry, or gnosis, whatever. Masons always call it differently. And we have a symbol for a generator called G. Could it be that simple? in regard to this video, yes, it could be, because I've said. It just, you know, gets you, doesn't it? And you think about it, I talked about amplification, going back because I've just read my notes, I missed a bit, talking about arches, amplifying, and people are talking about how horseshoe magnets in the same shape as these arches that I've been shouting for years. Hopefully people can see, you know, I've been talking about it for that long, as amplifying and magnetism. It's Janus. So all that blew me away. Obviously the logic gates, being obviously more than one transistor to create a logic gate. And the guy who made that was George Boole. And how George Boole name and geometry to 11, really. Could the 11 just be the program to show you, you know, what is going to him? I don't know. It just seems so funny that George Boole became 11 and Boolean algebra became 11. I'm like, nah. And I just have to show it, whether it's right or wrong, if people believe it or not. I still have to show it. I still have to be objective and show you what some people say and what some don't. That brought me to electric. This place, this object, this object. So electric broken down to L, obviously godly, and then ECT, and then Rick brought down to this place. This object is the jurisdiction of God. Come on, wow. Wow. And then if you think about it, you put city on the end of that. Electricity is electric city. It's significant to me, and obviously we're all on a different path, a different circuit, a different pathway. And this might not be as significant for others, but for me, it just blew me away, and it answered to so much making this video, and I wanted to make it different. You'll see a lot of videos out there saying circuit board cities, and bang, show you every picture under the sun as they're looking like a circuit board, and it does. I've included some of myself, but this is different. I've showed you, maybe you can call it an esoteric look at a circuit board city and what this realm is. And I'm just glad I made it, and I'm glad I made it, and I have the opportunity to show you guys what I'm capable of. That just blew me away about the electric being jurisdiction, and that ties you then into obviously AC current, DC current, and how that influences the programs and the things that need that source. I've always talked about positive souls, negative souls, and even in the films you have the programs that are red. Obviously we're designed for red to be naughty, evil, stay away, burn, fire, and then blue or white as cool, good, calming. And it's always put into us, and that is also another way when you look at it into colours and how they have red and blue for products and for political parties, even to Sparta and Athens. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I got one question. I got one. People have been seeing this t-shirt being worn, and obviously because I sit, it doesn't show. And a lot of you guys know, you know, from the old channel, I just made a t-shirt up, you know, to promote it. I had it made the image myself, and people have just been wondering what it is. So I'll just show you. It's just basically the Black Sheep Researcher, and you can see the Black Sheep Researcher, and then it says search for the truth, outcast style. Man of fluff. So that's what that is, and I always keep meaning to, yep, I'm going to make t-shirts and I'm going to do this, but I have no currency. And I just want to make content, and eventually I might get to do that. But you know, I'm hopefully here to stay. And hopefully you've enjoyed the video. Hopefully I've blown a few of your minds. I know I've done mine. And the connection between this and the computer realm, circuit board cities, and looking at it so different that I've just enjoyed it. And every time I talk to people, what's your next video part? And I'm like a little kid, I have to tell you, but then I hold it back because I don't want to ruin the surprise, and that's just how I've been. So thank you for your patience. And I know you're going to enjoy it. Remember, always wear a smile. You know, stay safe, pay it forward, do one good deed. Try and, do good deeds. Is it, and to finish off, you know, are we in a computer world? Are we in a circuit board realm? Who knows? So many people believe so many different things, and there's always them people who don't have any discernment. If I say we are living in the simulation, they'll go, oh, they feel the need, because people get triggered. People have the capacity. A lot of you have, but some people don't have the capacity to say, you know what, I don't agree. I'll just leave it at that and move on and go and watch his next video or something. You know, I need, because you're programmed, you're triggered. Like this reality. In between the lockdowns, we had circuit breakers. All this computer talk. I'll leave that with you. Right, guys, please like it. If you do like it, share it, subscribe. Please tell people. You know, we've lost so many flockers and friends when my channel got took down, that they're finding me slowly, but more people, you know, you can share it to. More people that you can come back. And like I said, if you want to see me on a day-to-day basis, I'm on Twitter, What the Flock TV. Just please come and whatever it is that you do, join, link, like, I don't know. So remember, smile, and I'll see you in the chat. Bye, guys.